Hello, everyone. This is Fatima Peters, and I'll welcome you to our channel. Today, we have a historical event. We have been planning to have this amazing time here on YouTube for such a long time. Emotion Management School was created out of love. We actually have dreamed about this. There's a lot of students that came through this school and are here today because of the love for emotion management teaching. Today, I would like to thank our sponsors. I would like to thank my teachers, especially Dr. Augusto Curi. He has shown us in 2018 the bridge, the amazing bridge between what is taught out there and what is taught today. We now are part of this amazing team. We are called Emotion Management School Coaches. This is the number one coaching system because Dr. Augusto Curi has developed something called multifocal intelligence theory. You are here today, and I thank you. Thank you to all our listeners. Thank you to all our students that have worked hard to get here. And I am very moved and very thankful that today we are able to share with you, share with the world. Finally, we are able to share with you all the tools about emotion management and well being. And today, obviously, I would invite my student, my friend. She has been with my journey since she was yay little. She was only 18 years old when she came in, and we were chatting about life, and we had a dream, and we talked about so many things. And thank you. And so, with love and so much care, I would like to introduce you, Alejandra Suarez. She is a sound and music therapist. And here, welcome, my dear one.
Hello, thank you so much for having me join this first ever live for emotions management. It's crazy to think that since I was 18 years old, I have been on this journey and you have been my teacher and my guide and an angel in my life. So this is amazing. And the fact that you're right now putting this all together, this journey that I have witnessed even in your life, with emotions management, it's really putting it into perspective that here we are finally, and I'm so ready to share this experience that just keeps giving. It's the gift that keeps giving. I feel like that's the only way I can describe emotions management, and something that we really need in society, in this world today. So thank you for having me on today.
It is so amazing that we have actually finally got here. It took us a little bit of time, right? We were planning, we were discussing. There's other people that I would like to mention, like Anthony Timmett, Jane. I can't pronounce your last name, Jane, but I know Belek, Jane Belek, John Nicholas Peters, my hubby. All of them have been in our journey, and many others that will take a whole night introducing. But here it's amazing, Alejandra. You have meant a lot to me in this journey, and you have met Dr. Augusto Curi in 2018 in our first ever workshop here in Philadelphia, where 25 students and Dr. Augusto Curi and me gave a workshop, your first ever, about emotion management tools. Tell us about that. What did you think when you heard that amazing mentor talk about something that we were already working on? So, what did that do to you?
I would say that first meeting Dr. Gustakuri, I could tell that he was a very humble man. And he was one of the things that he had said that stood out to me was that we still haven't discovered the most important frontier of humankind, of the mind.
Yes,
And
yes.
that really resonated with me because I completely agree with that. And the fact that he's in this territory that is new, that uh, it really captured my attention, and understanding that possibly with what he has researched, and even reading his book Think and Make It Happen, that there is a lot of problems that can be solved with
Very
just
true.
simple principles. So that experience, and just being with everybody, it was amazing. It was great.
Yes, and I'm honored that you came here to talk today because this is what we have planned for so many years, to be able to share the tools that can actually teach humans how to be the author of their own lives. And nowadays, I have humbly, I would like to say this humbly, able to help students from the first session, the very first session that they come in, they are able to discover an amazing world and being able to already see how the future could look and amazing how their life could be, and to be here today with you talking about that is amazing. So I would like to invite our listeners to actually tap in and start questions because we'll be able to talk today about the well being. Who's the one who chooses the way? We'll be able to talk about emotions. Are emotions real? Are the thoughts real? Are we able to choose? Are we able to ever choose our lives? And during difficult times, during amazing chaos in the world, during, you know, things that happen during the life, can we ever, can we ever feel happy? Are we ever able to overcome those things? And the answer, yes, we can. We are able to actually be free, and what Dr. Gustacuri calls free mind. I remember I've been studying the mind for a long time, and I've been actually studying philosophy for a long time now. And I had so many questions over and over until one day I met Dr. Gustacuri, and He answered all those questions in one retreat where he taught for 6 days 50 leaders. And I was chosen to be there. And I thank him for that because that week in San Francisco at the Silicon Valley, me and another 50, people, group leaders from all over, we learned deep down the tools for emotion management. And obviously, now you are part of this, and I have, shared with you so many testimonials and so many great stories about people that have achieved that. So let's talk a little bit about, long time ago, you had, doubts about should I study, should I not? Then should I buy a house, should I not? Should I move on with another job or not? So, what did you learn about any or every single question you had? What was the ingredient that actually made you even better after that question? And knowing that the future was great after that decision. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Because I like actually, asking you this type of questions because that's when you really come alive and start the nitty gritty, talk.
Yeah, and then when we talk in sessions or just having coffee, we always talk about like just the amazing things that happen. Like, can you believe it? And I'm like, yeah, but it's hard to explain all that. But I mean, when I think about what we call manifestation, what we call creating our life, it does come down to when we first had coffee and I wanted to find my soulmate, a partner. And you showed me a technique. You went over this. You said, I have done this. And you explained it to me. And I accomplished that. That I was very grateful for. And I'm still with my partner today. And we've been together over almost 14 years. So
Isn't it amazing? It's
it,
so
it truly
amazing.
is. And you showed me the possibility of that. And even just walking by, if there's, window shopping, you're like, I want that item, but I don't have the money. No, dream of it. Continue to feel and manifest that. Now down the road, even greater things have happened. But also with emotions management, it showed the process of understanding
Yes.
that.
Yes.
And, we have a lot of talk about manifesting and a law of attraction, but I found that emotions management are the principles. It's the philosophy of it. It's the study of it all.
That's it.
And it
That's it.
really, all these books that I have back here, they're all saying the same thing. And we talk about this. They're saying the same thing in different ways. But what I
That's
love
it.
about emotions management school is it's like the quantum blueprint of it all.
That's it. That's it.
So
And that's what we said before. How amazing that back then, when I used to hear Dr. Augusto Curi says, this is the number one, this is the step. I used to think about it, said, really? I mean, remember you and I used to talk about really, well, now I know. Now I know it is. This is it. This is what really frees the mind. This is, amazing. And we can talk about the DCD tool. And I would like you to talk about that because you have mastered that. So let's make Dr. Augusto Curi proud of this, that a American student of Fatima Peters is actually using the DCD every day.
I have to every day. If I
Uh-huh.
don't, if I don't doubt my thoughts, my negative thoughts, if I don't criticize those negative thoughts and I don't decide what I truly want in my life, then everything else is going to control me and it's going to dictate my life. And so what I've learned with DCD is you have a chance to change things around in the moment. If as long as you keep doing it, you're re-editing your life as you go. It's like, one of
Exactly.
the stories or one of the analogies that Dr. Gosi uses and Dr. Gosakura uses in his books is being on the stage of your life, right? So you want to
Yes.
be the director of your life. You don't want to just be an actor. And so that's
Yes.
what the tool of DCD does. It helps you get back to being the director, the creator of your life instead of just being an actor or actress on the stage. So I would
Yes.
definitely say, yeah, I have to use that every day.
Yes, it is. Well, thank you for that explanation. And I thank you for that because me too. The DCD is perhaps the most vital tool to be used every day. And I tell my students as soon as they come in, I go, this is the tool you're going to have to use for the rest of your life. And why is that? It's because I'm going to ask you before I answer that. How about you think that the thought is actually real? Doesn't that look real? It must be real. What if I tell you that's not? It's actually virtual. The thought is virtual, but what makes that real is the emotion because the emotion is real. And so most of us don't understand that when something happens, when the law of attraction, with anything else in your life, that you, only you, have written that on your book. So I know that some of my students are here, and I would like to give a little shout to my students. And so Anthony Timmett, he has developed a business, and the business has emotion management tools in it. And the ability to create fluidity with money, be free, independent, that has to do with being the author of your own life. Fernando Suarez, my darling, he is a amazing student, has applied since so many years. I think Fernando has been a student of emotion management since 2018 as well. And he is Alejandra Suarez's father. He's very proud of that. And also Flavia Porto, Flavia Souza has been my friend, is my student as well. And It's so amazing. I can go on and on and on of the list. There's so many, here on the line. And I thank you. So, emotion management is not only to manage your emotions, but actually to filter your thoughts. Because, see, you have a mind, and the mind is always talking, right, Alejandra? The mind is always saying, it's always actually commenting, it's always telling you what to do, how to do. It's always judging. It's telling, wow, look at that girl's hair. Oh, look at that man's shirt. Oh my goodness, this day is so dark and I don't like this and this and that. Question is, are you aware that you're saying that? Are you aware that you're saying what the mind is asking you to say? And that's the problem. The problem is that you are in automatic frame all day, all day, and you don't realize. So, Alejandra, last time we chat about this, we talked about how someone drives, leaves the house to go to work, and by the time they get to work, they don't know where they went through. They cannot remember which streets they turned, if they actually went on a highway. They just went from the house to work without remembering. How many times have you gone through that too? Right?
Well, I mean, I've been commuting to work for, an hour. So it happens often. It happens often. Luckily, I got a new job, which I'm so happy about, and my commute's 10 minutes. So an hour to 10 minutes. I mean, this is the work that we've been doing. But
Fantastic. And you can talk about that too. You can
I,
say how amazing is that the time that you thought that you needed to quit, that was not the time to manifest the miracle,
it wasn't,
right?
it was
So
in,
I wanted you
yeah.
to talk about that.
So in the, so I was trying to create something in lack, right?
Uh-huh.
So instead of being in the realizing the goodness that already exists in my life and creating from that realm, from that dimension, let's say. um but I mean that it gets easier, and that's the thing, is it's truly a journey, and it's like they say, it's not the destination, it's about the journey that you go through, that you learn and you learn about yourself and you grow. But you know, this time around, it was a lot easier, but only because I applied what you have taught me. I've applied DCD and the 12 principles, and realizing, and what, bringing up what you were saying about being on autopilot. I mean, most of us are on autopilot. So sometimes, yeah,
Constantly.
I, I know that we all go through that. It's
Very
just
true.
recognizing and being aware, like, oh my God, I didn't even realize I drove 30 minutes and just zoned out, or, so yeah, I
Very
could
true.
definitely speak to that.
And there's a reason, as a matter of fact, why the book says think and make it happen. There's a reason, because most people don't realize that as they thinking, they are creating. So if you think negative, if you think what you don't want, and if you are thinking disaster, what do you think you're creating? Right? So it's interesting that in our conversations, what I noticed is that all you were thinking back then was, I need to quit.
Correct.
I need to quit. I need a new job. I disagree with this. I don't like this and that. Right? And I mean, did you get upset at me for saying, by the way, don't quit? That's not the way. Don't quit.
Well,
Did you get upset about that?
I mean, my ego got upset. I'm not gonna lie, my ego, but I've I've known you for so long, and you've always guided me in the right direction. I was just like, shut it down, stop. She's saying that for a reason. Focus on the positive, and so yeah.
Yeah, but it's kind of interesting because in distress, most of the time, People don't realize they are creating more stress. So the point is, as you don't like something that you don't like, you keep talking about that you don't like, you manifesting more of that you don't like. So throughout my studies, throughout my research, which you have, followed me with that very closely, you have noticed that I have studied so many methods. I have studied everything under the sun that has to do with energy and thought, you know, finally end up in philosophy. So the point is that since ancient time, is talked that whatever you think, you make it. So this is called think and make it happen. So what this talks about is, what if I learn to think correctly? Because then I'm thinking, I'm creating anyway, because I have a very complex system in me, which is able to produce. So I would then manage what's going on, which then I will produce exactly what I want, right? Now, it's easily said and done, I would say, you know.
Yes, it's true.
Yeah, it's easily said and done, because then when someone yells at you, when someone curses at you, or when someone is not being beneficial to the conversation in front of you, right then a person would say, well, heck, I have to give this person the benefit of what they offer me. I'm going to yell back. But that's not, what do we teach at emotional management? Because, you being in situation of challenge with someone, and either at work or out, where we have worked through coaching, that it's not the payback with the same token that works, right? I mean, can you talk a little bit about that? And I know it's funny now, but it wasn't funny then. So tell us a little bit about that. What is that secret? What makes you calm during a conflict?
I would say accountability, holding yourself accountable, holding yourself responsible for your reactions and your responses
Yes.
and your emotions. And understanding that. Where is that coming from? Because if you're upset, somebody says something to you and it triggers an emotion in you, well, that tells you there's some work to be done there. Why are you responding in that way? So I mean, we are, since babies, we're sponges. We're absorbing so much in our lives, whether it's within our lives or our families or within work. We are Our minds start creating a program. So there's a lot to be uncovered in the mind, which is always going, like you said.
Yep.
But at the same time, that doesn't give us the right or the ability to keep reacting in negative ways to people who are also going through the same thing. They're going through their triggers. And so it keeps feeding the same thing. It keeps the cycle going, that vicious cycle.
Yes.
So when you stop
Yes.
and you don't react to that, you are now stopping the program for a second, and you're
Yes.
becoming conscious of, why do I feel that way? Why is that bothering me? And just to ask why is creating different paths in your mind and your neurons. And you don't even
Yes.
need to know the answer right there and then. And that's what took me so long to
Yes.
get, because I would always need to know, but why, but why, but why? And you're like, Alex, you don't have to know why. Just let it go and let it transcend. And as soon as I started to let that transcend, then I started to be more conscious, and it wasn't about the person anymore. It was about me being at peace. And the saying
That's it.
that I love that you say, that Dr. Costa Corey says, is, you know, my peace is worth gold.
Yes.
And
That's
and
it.
I in the reality, in the physical world, I do love gold too. So like I understand the value of gold. So I'm like, oh, peace, gold. Like, yeah, my
That's
peace is
it.
my gold. It is my value. And I know that everybody values their own peace. That's what we're all searching for, right? That's why we have all these
And that's
self-help
it.
books. And yeah,
That's
so
it. And that's well-being. The well-being is defined by the peace within. The inner self, to be in control, to be in charge of peace, of love, being able to share who you are. Because if you don't have that, then you don't have you don't have it to share, right? So it's interesting how many people struggle begging for love, begging for money, you know, and hear me doing this. And so the live is getting, you know, it's getting all this shower of love and gold. And I love
so
it because I can go like this and share love with you, you know. There you go. And that is what we all about. So I mean, this is fun. I mean, we are creating an amazing school for all the new people coming here. Emotion Management School. It's the school to the world. Okay. We are here to share this amazing discovery because it took us a long time. Alejandra and I, and so my students, Anthony Timmett and Jane Bellick and John Nicholas Peters, and so many, Yvette Vertel and Craig Kaplan. And there's so many, I won't remember. Forgive me if I can remember all your names, but we have worked on this. We have worked. There were people there were in anguish, and they are no longer in anguish because ego was totally putting them in a position of anguish. Well, guess what? Once they discover peace, once they actually learned how to navigate, that's the whole point. Navigate. I mean, who is the pilot? Aren't you the pilot? So, wouldn't you be able to navigate the world unless you are not a trained pilot? And so that's what emotion management does. It creates a incredible expertise of a pilot in you. And that's what Alejandra and I and my team at the school are willing to do. We created this channel, and this is our historical moment that we are actually here for the first time ever. And how many times people would ask us to be here? And I would say, oh, no, I'm not sure. Oh, no, I don't know how to do it. But thank God, now we have a team behind this channel. There's a whole team of amazing people that are working with love, because they are behind the cameras, make sure that we look good, make sure we sound good, make sure you are heard, because they keep telling me, check the chat, check and think and be aware. And so that's what are we doing. So Alejandra, talk a little bit about, I mean, I know you have trained yourself with me, you have trained yourself with other coaching tools, but there's one thing in particular which I'll touch a little bit about it. It is music and sound healing, and I would like you to tell us a little bit about it.
so music, I mean, speaking of philosophy, is
Yes.
sound healing is one of the most ancient forms of medicine. So we're going back,
Right?
a lot. And a lot of different civilizations have used medicine, sound healing for medicine. But you can't deny the feeling that music gives you. You can't deny the feeling that when you're outside and you hear the wind and you hear the trees and you hear the birds and the animals, that there's something about it that connects us, really.
Very true.
It's within us. Music is the creation of this universe. It's, I mean, you got cymatics. There's so much I could go into that I absolutely love. Um, but truly, I think that what I love about music is that it brings me to the present moment, and it is calming, it's soothing, and it
So
helps
amazing.
you reflect inward, right? It helps you move. It helps you discover parts of yourself and connect with different, not I want to say realities, but different dimensions in your mind, different ways of thinking. It helps you connect with people. There's just so much. And music has been such a big part of my life. I mean, music has saved my life. Like, I feel like it has helped me in this world so much.
Uh-huh.
Um, and
Me too.
creating, yeah. And so I am committing my service through emotions management and through sound healing because I know that I can give that back to the world. And so I play guitar. I've played guitar for many years. I sing, I write. I my new thing right now is tuning forks, which my mother actually introduced me to. And that you put around the body or on the body. And so it helps tune the body and helps tune the mind. And so if we understand a lot of what society talks about is mind, body, spirit, well, what are these things, you know? So the tuning fork tunes the mind, tunes the body to the correct frequency, right? When we're stressed out, we're getting pulled. It's like a guitar. If those strings are being pulled in one direction or anything, it detunes the guitar. So we got to tune it back up. The tuning forks help the body become tuned again to its natural frequency. So then the other part of this that comes into play is the spirit. And I believe that emotions management is what has helped me discover my spirit again. So for me, tying this all in, I'm so excited to start introducing this to the world and to start just mastering it and being part of a journey with everybody as well. So yeah, that's what I would say.
That's amazing. That's so amazing because it's exactly that. The fact that music, makes you joyful, but a sad music can actually make you sad, and you can actually bring sad memories. So music is actually a trigger. So you can choose music to be healing the same way you choose good words to also heal. So we go into now the tools of emotion management, which is we observe the world through the sensible world. So here we are connecting with music, and we can choose good music to heal. We can choose good sounds for healing, because most people nowadays turn on the radio and the words in certain songs don't ever, get beneficial with the good life. Some swearing, some dead stuff. And so, I mean, why would you choose to hear that? Okay. So it's incredible that musicians like you are actually composing music that uplifts the spirit and our healing. You know, I too use my music to feel good, to uplift in stressful days. Because, like you said, it's true. We get out in the world, we are here all nice and beautiful and joyful. We get out there, and then all of a sudden we came back home completely tired, completely, stressed. And who is going to repair us? Because it's accumulative, right? We can talk about that on the tuning forks, how stress is accumulative. People think that the stress that I felt today, it's not going to affect me tomorrow. That's not true, because the stress today will be your stress tomorrow. If you don't do anything, you don't use any tools, you don't use relaxation, meditation, calming music, you don't relax yourself, put yourself into a tuning position, your future, it's only going to be some kind of disease, some kind of untuning. And so one must be very, very aware of what they're listening, what they're touching, what they are joining, you know, who they are with, to make sure this energy, make sure this person, this spirit is always joyful. So, would you tell us a little bit? Because I've been to your session, and one of your students is actually just text. Larissa said that after tuning with Alejandra, I was able to free myself from a very tight emotional cord I had with someone that was not good for me. And because of that, she was repeating that pattern because obviously she had that history. The trigger, the killer window that we talk about, returning to her body over and over, which then took her out of tune. So, can you tell a little bit about that? Because that was a miracle.
Yes, that just came about magically. I mean,
Yes,
I think I just brought my tuning forks to show you that day, and I came to her
yes,
session, and Larissa was there, and it was probably I was still trying to get to know myself with the tuning forks and picking up the energy and the sound and everything. But what happened, what you said, that a pattern was repeating in her life. Well, we have, and so there is our biofield. So the
yep.
tuning that I'm going to be certified in, which I'm so excited, is biofield tuning. And so Eileen
Wow.
McCusick discovered, and she has done a lot of research, but she had discovered that we have a field around us that is about 6 feet out. And so that holds our memories, our traumas, our emotions, everything that you're holding in here and holding in your body, it's held in there.
True.
So,
So
right,
true.
our emotions, I mean, if you go into the chakras, it's the same idea. So, going through the tuning forks, I'm combing around the body's aura, the field. And again, the tuning fork's tuned. And so everything is frequency, right? So as I'm going through the body, the tuning fork is it's feeding back the sound. So as it's doing that, it's trying to now entrain the body to its frequency. And so if you have stuck energy is too much energy. It's too high frequency. It's called biophotons. So the tuning fork comes through that and breaks it down so you have more flow. And life is all about flow. So the fork was able to clean through that, and whatever was going on in her life years ago. It wasn't even recent. It was
It
years
was
ago.
something years ago.
And like
Yes.
you said, things accumulate.
Yep.
So imagine if you don't process trauma, emotions, stress, then they can get stuck in your field. And so the forks clean it out and they take back that energy that's been stuck and it puts it back into your chakras, into your energy points where they're supposed to really be. So that
So
energy
amazing.
was put back, and because we're battery essentially. So that that it's put back, and Larissa experienced an opening. That was, it clears your mind, it clears the patterns, the thinking that kept you in that state, it will
Yes.
clear it out. And so you have that physical body relaxation, but you're also improving parts of your psyche, your patterns, things that you have been holding on to, all of
True.
that. So
And
that's
there was something else that was happening, which is amazing. That thank you for that explanation. Very thorough, by the way. She, because of that kind of energy in her body, she was attracting more of that. And so her concern was, what is that I'm, attracting that I don't want in my life? I don't want that. And she keeps going, and I don't want. And that was producing even more. Because if you have that in your body and you're thinking about it, it's double whammy because now she has the energy, which now producing energy on her thought, which then manifesting. And she was really upset about it. And interesting enough that when she came here, she was visiting me. She came in for a 40-day intensive, an emotion management workshop intensive. You came that day for a class. And I felt intuition. So I said, Would you mind? And it was amazing. So thank you for that, because this is what we all about. We are offering tools for freedom, for mind freedom, because we have this amazing complex thing called mind. Everybody talks about mind, mindset, paradigms, energy, dark matter, you know, depression, anxiety, speed, thoughts, and so many other things. So the base of that is actually the author, the I. That's the base. And the I is not this flash. It's simple. It produces energy and loves love. Simple as that. But what gets in the way? The mind, which is so sneaky, which is so amazing, which is so complex. In the same way that can produce something really good, it can produce something really bad. It's the double whammy, and people don't realize that it takes training. It takes training for you to know how the mind works. And that's why, you and I have been teaching and putting out there, who wants to be an amazing thinker? And that's why I became a philosopher, because I wanted to actually, inspire people to be a great thinker. Because if you are a great thinker, you are going to have success in life. You're going to make the right decisions for yourself and others. Ego is not going to make you a taker, it will make you a giver. You know, we can talk about ego all day today if you want to, because you and I have so many stories about that. But I want to give a shout to some amazing people here. Erica Pagan. Okay. Also, there's someone here. I'm going to say his name, and we are not mainstream. And the reason that I will say it's Anderson, Andy for us. It's my dear friend, my student, my incredible friend, and he works with energy. He actually is called We Are Not Mainstream because he is a DJ that plays music with great and positive frequency. And it's amazing, Alejandra, because he has realized that as you are in the party and you're enjoying life, I mean, you should also have great energy. You should be feeling great. If you're not, you go to a party and you wanted to feel amazing. So that's the point. The point is that we are not mainstream. We're not actually going with the mainstream music. So thank you, Andy. See, I even gave you lights. And also, I wanted to give a shout to Esther Diaz and to Anthony, already mentioned, and to our friends that are actually supporting this channel. If you're listening, do not forget to like our channel, to support our channel. This is only going to grow amazingly because we are going to be talking about the tools. We are going to give, we were talking today about a 24 hours event where tons of amazing speakers will be coming in for a summit, and it will be free. Why not? But bring your friends to the channel, invite them to come in and share the comments, like, subscribe, because that's what we want. We wanted more people. We wanted to influence people to be amazing thinkers. So, Alejandra, let's chat a little bit about um, relationships. Let's talk about well-being in relationships. So let's talk like someone that is alone right now, does they don't have any boyfriend, girlfriend, but they're thinking of a relationship, and all they're saying, someone is texting me now. That's why I'm mentioning this. They cannot deal with the BS of today.
Yeah.
They cannot deal with the egotistical people of today. That is something, right? I mean,
It's,
actually,
yeah.
so how do you relate to people, either romantically, business wise, or collaboration? Would you talk a little bit about that? Because you have been through a lot, and that made you an expert and master in the subject.
Well, I think I feel like I would have a lot to say on that, but um,
I
relationships.
love it. I love it.
Right. I mean, so I would say probably the most important. Oh, let me go back to the first thing because I really wanted to answer
Good.
that.
I love
So
it.
you were talking about somebody right now who doesn't have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, and they're
Yeah.
looking for love or they're looking for a relationship. Um, I honestly I feel like the way that first off I've experienced. I speak from my own experience, and that's where I love to teach from. So in
Yes.
my experience, the moment that my partner, my fiance came into my life was the point that I did not expect it. I wasn't looking for it. I was desiring it, but I put it out there and I focused on myself. I improved myself. I loved myself. And I feel like if anything, that's probably the most important thing. Loving yourself. And to me, that's well-being. Taking care of yourself, nurturing yourself in all ways, not just with career, not just with health, but with family, with recreation, everything that, that 12-wheel cycle, right?
Yep.
That's a good example of investing in yourself and your well-being. That's what I would say if somebody is interested in being in a relationship. Get to know yourself, learn to be
Yes.
alone, learn to be in awkward situations, learn to be, on an adventure, and just start to manifest and just put out there what is it that you're looking for in a partner. And
True.
you'll,
This is so
right?
true.
Like,
This is, yeah, this is so true. No, no, pardon me if I interrupted, but this is fabulous because the fact is, if someone doesn't have in them, right? They don't have the love for themselves. And they don't, like Augusto Curi says, have a romance with yourself, right? If you
yeah.
don't have the romance with yourself, and that is not ego. We're not talking about being a narcissistic personality. We're talking about loving yourself, everything about yourself. Where you can say, I love the way I speak, I love the way I dress, I love the way I love. Look at that little, all that shower of love there, you know. So that is who we are. I mean, most people ask me, how can I be so joyful? How can I be so friendly? How do I care so much? And how am I so patient? Well, that is not natural. I had to learn that. You have to learn to love yourself, to love others. My life was not always what I wanted, but it was what I needed, exactly what I needed, right? This is so amazing because, you know, I had to learn the steps to get here, to be patient with the impatient, to be loving with the egotistic taker, to be joyful with the sad one, to bring joy in the sad space, to actually have, happiness no matter what, to have happiness no matter what, you know, and for me is the most important thing because we are in this journey. There's another phrase that I like that says, how would you ever want to go in the podium without any challenges? I mean, come on. You want the victory? You have to go through the challenges, you know, right? I mean, you and I have seen, I think, a lot. We have gone through a lot of difficult, and people look at us and say, "Oh, how wonderful! You two are so zen. You're so peaceable. You're so light." I
Oh my
mean, people
God.
don't realize, right?
But I know who would know us best at the
Uh
same
huh.
time, and they would probably say, we're not always at peace and zen.
Duh, I know. And we have to work to be here. And so work to have peace and love, to work to be kind. You can't just put an autopilot because the mind will have some information for that. Will present in automatic manner, whatever, because you do not have control in that mind of yours. You only have control in the content that you in the present moment is coming in. And even that, if you wink, you would not be able to do it, right? I mean, if someone gets mad at you and if you don't DCD that moment, boom, you're angry, you are in their space, they are in yours, and all of a sudden you lost your peace of mind. Well, guess what? You paid with your gold for the admission to this horror movie.
Yeah,
Right? I mean, I'm sure so
true.
many of you have done that, have paid with your gold for the price of admission of this horror movie. I don't want any of that. I want to enjoy life. I want to enjoy love. I want to enjoy happiness. Right? I mean, and so well being in a nutshell is exactly what I, you, and other well beingers, the club of well being, want. Like I always say to you, would you explain that, by the way? And I say, Alejandra, the how is not of your business. Explain that. I would love to hear.
The how, I mean, yeah, like I feel like I'm like noting so many other conversations that we could do videos on, just saying.
Uh-huh.
But
Many shorts,
yeah,
right?
we could do that. We could do that. So
The
the
how
how
is
is
not of your
not your
business.
business. I mean, that's why it's so important to focus on what you want, because if you're like, well, how this, how that, that's the mind. That's already the mind telling you it can't be done that way because you don't have enough money. It can't be done that way because you're not good enough. I mean, how many times do we tell ourselves that without even knowing? And I am definitely, I mean, you see me, I've grown from that terrible, that limiting belief. But what are we telling ourselves? And so focusing on the goal, focusing on the dream, that's what's important, not the
That's the
how.
most important thing. Yes.
The
That's
universe will
it.
figure it out in many ways. I mean, I could just use, for example, with my new job. Like, I just, at first I was like, well, what about this? And I focused too much on the details, and I found myself going online every day, going online. I'm like, no, you know what? I
I'll
want to,
remember.
I'll take this from you. I want to live effortless. Like, I want to achieve things with at least effort as possible. And I know that sounds contradictory, but it's
Mhm.
the truth, because life should flow. And that's how you know when
Exactly.
things are meant to be. So the
Exactly.
how, don't worry about it. Focus on the goal. Focus on what you want. Focus on your dream. And I am a true believer on that heaven can be on earth. I like,
Mm.
and as it, right now in the world, a lot of people will see it differently. There's a lot going on, but that's where my mission is, my service is to bring heaven on earth, because I believe it in my heart. So
Yes,
the how,
that's
I
it.
still don't know how.
Well,
But
I know. And that is not the most fun. If you wanted to know the how, you will stop in the middle of the journey. Oh, how? Isn't it better to be in a journey, discovering? Look at this beautiful plants. Look at this beautiful rocks. Look at this beautiful highway. Look at this beautiful people in this town, this food, that food. I mean, that's the way it's supposed to be. Now, it's easily said than done because most people say, wow, I can't get rid of my mind. Neither can I, neither can you. But the point is to train the mind to be amazing. If you can train the mind, you can achieve it. That said, Napoleon Hill, somewhere it said, if you can think it, you can have it. But the problem is, if the mind is occupied with something that is not coherent with your journey, then you are going to not. And so the point of gratitude, the point of being here now, The point of the power of the now is to understand that the power of a now is you. And if you're not here now and you are somewhere with unfocused mind and some terrible thing that happened and some things that you don't have, with the money that you don't have, with the bills that you have to pay, right? All those things, then you're not here. You were there with the thought. So if you're going to think, might as well think of something that you want, you know? And that is the secret. I mean, everybody talks about so many secrets with so many things, how to do this, how to do that, but no one, and I quote Dr. Augusto Curi again, everybody has insurance, the house insurance, the car insurance, the whatever insurance, the business insurance, but no one is signing up for the mind insurance. Nobody is investing to have a free mind, because if you have a free mind, you have a free life. You have free everything, because then you are not going to be the prisoner of this mind, which doesn't know where you're going to go, because the mind only knows what you present. So now you have a very immature pilot, autopilot, which doesn't know where you're going to go, doesn't know when you want to go, and what time you need, and who you want to go with. I mean, what is the point? So the point is to take charge, co-pilot, please take over when I say so, right? Being sure that you, the pilot, is in a cabin and knowing where to go. I mean, this is kind of counterintuitive, but it is the truth, right? So the only way to make sure that one is capable of flying, because I would never go in any plane that the pilot does not know how to pilot, huh? Right? But the point is, if you don't know how to pilot, where are you taking yourself? Where's the mind taking you? Think about that. Remember that year when we chatted about you developing a system at work and you were on the go, you girlfriend, you were on, and you were getting one raise after another. Do you remember?
I do. I do remember. And
Uh-huh.
I'm still shocked that that happened, because I'm like, that's not possible. And so
Well,
miracles.
it is
Like,
possible because you were on. You were happy. You were investing in the coaching. You were coming, you were applying, and you were on. And do you remember when you two bought the house? That also was a manifestation. So the point is, if you can do and I can do and our students can do, don't you think, right, that everyone can do? All
yeah,
they need to apply is they think correctly.
I
No,
actually,
right? Go
so
ahead. Go ahead.
it's true. And I just wanted to point out that in the chat, while podcast, that it's actually simple. And I agree. It is
Yeah.
actually very simple when
It
you
is
think
simple.
about all of this.
Yes.
And and after like every session, an hour and a half, I'm like, wow, it's that simple. It was that easy. Wow. And you just like uncovered all of this junk and just trash from your mind. You're like, wow. So this is amazing. Theory, program,
Uh-huh.
school,
That's it.
everything.
Well, that's why
Talking
we're
about
here, right?
investing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and I, as soon as I discovered this in 2016 and 17, I just dropped everything because, I was doing a lot of stuff. I had so much, my hands were in so many arts and so many custom designing, fashion, photography. I was doing so many things and I developed so many professions well. But when I discovered this, and it didn't come to me, handed to me, it came to me, and you know the story, through a chaos, through a situation where someone I liked and I collaborate and I was business with, and I was so, thinking that that person should have gratitude for what I did. And that person was very egotistic, very nonchalant about what I was doing, and it was aggressive towards me. I got shocked. I was like, how can a person do that? And as soon as I saw that, I started questioning. This was in July, and I was questioning. I want to know more. I want to know more about a person. I want to know why someone would do such a thing. Wouldn't you know that I was manifesting? Because that was in July. In August, I started doing a coaching, program. And then from that on, I just started becoming who I am and being in contact with so many mentors. And every single one delivered a tool that was actually opening my mind, expanding my vision, and telling me why and the why and the why I was not seeking. It was coming to me. And I was studying it. I was like, oh my God, you remember when I went away for so long, right?
I'm
I
like thinking,
went,
yeah,
I
didn't
went
you didn't you do the fall where you like people have to grab
I did
you?
the fall. Yes, I did that
That's all
fall
of that.
where I trusted people to just hold me back. And I was
Yeah.
like, it was amazing. I was actually trusting and I was actually freeing myself from all this emotional ties.
Yeah.
And then came to the moment where I met my mentor and he says, how about this? How about this? How about the, phenomenas, invisible phenomenas of the mind? How do you address this?
Yes.
And I was like, whoa, and I started reading and I read all 300 pages of his work. And I was like, dude, this is it. This is the bridge because it was missing. If you remember, we talked about this. There was a little tiny bit that was missing to explain to all of us why the mind operates such. Why is the mind like that? Why does it read? Why does it read so quickly? In 20 seconds, it reads. And then what? You're involuntary. You are completely like a doll with no, no hands on whatever's going on there. You're involuntary. That phenomena is involuntary in your mind. And I wanted to know. I wanted to know the tools, how to do the round table, how to do the DCD, how to actually be the author of my own existence. And here's the result. We both are here talking, and more students will come and talk. And I'm going to interview students that actually have made amazing things in their lives, right? I mean, we know many of them. It has gone over 20,000 hours of coaching and over 500 people that have transformed their lives like this. It's amazing. And so we would like to fly with this. Let's just tell people, let's just share, open the books, really tell the world that you too can do, right? Be able to share music therapy, Reiki, body language, profile analysis, the saboteurs, the power of now, the power of the sixth sense, the co-pilots of the mind, the everything.
Yes.
There's so many amazing things. And we had to go through all that, through all those years for us to arrive here. To be able, I had to learn how to speak. Remember, I used to tell you, I used to say, gosh, I know what it is.
Yeah.
I can feel it. I know, but I cannot talk. I don't even know how to say it. Well, now I do. I'm able to explain the science behind the science. I'm able to now explain how it works and how I'm able to teach what I know, because you know, how many courses I did, how many mentors I went through, how many meditations. I mean, meditation is such an important thing. It will be times where you and I and Anthony and the other coaches will be here teaching meditation to calm the mind, to actually tell the mind, hey, I got it. Hey, mind, quiet. I got it. Thank you, but no thank you. Right? Being able to take control of this amazing equipment that is writing your life. But without your consent, it's going to write a horrible story. And you are the one that is watching without inactiveness, you know, not being on the stage of your own life. It doesn't matter how many chaoses, how many problems, how many difficulties or risks or whatever we're going through. If you are the author of your own life, you can write that poetically as well. Don't you think about it?
I agree.
I'm sure that, yeah, I'm sure you have thought about that. How does one write a chapter that does not include um, freedom? Well, you make it into freedom, right? I mean, I, I mean, that's how I'm writing my biography. I go, you know, there were times that I did not have food. There were times that I did not have a place to sleep, but heck was fun. It was a journey of discovery. Why not? Right? The same thing you. I mean, look at you, you know, going to a new job. I mean, getting to meet new people. I mean, it looks like yesterday you were talking that you wanted a new job,
I know it. I mean, it happened very fast, and
right?
it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. So
And I
I'm
remember,
super
like,
happy,
about,
grateful.
I mean, just for the sake of conversation, you know, the fact is that 3 weeks ago, this was not on the table. Isn't it crazy to
Oh
think
my
that?
gosh.
No, tell the people because I know that people are going to go, ah, wait a second. You know, like I read something here that says, um, I can tell that you put a lot of effort into this and it shows. Keep up the amazing work. Yes, we
Awesome.
do put a lot of effort in here. And that's my friend Lenisi. We have to thank her because the first time that I ever start thinking about being here was when I actually was invited to be her guest in her show. I had no idea the hell was already brewing in the quantum world. And I accepted that invitation with so much love. And I met my incredible team, my sound engineer, Lennon and Lennis, you know, because they were the ones that pushed me a little farther to have this done. See, that was the how. And I had no clue. And before that, who invited me to meet Lenisi? My friend Flavia. Flavia Porto, my sweet friend. Okay, sis, you were the ingredient there, making that connection. And here we are. So we all connected. We need each other. And that's all we got. We have to serve. We have to actually give to receive. So now I'm receiving what I put out. And I know you have this smiley face because I know you're going, uh-huh, you know, uh-huh. That's how we make this happen. We look back, you know, the conversation we all had about how would we ever be, you know, telling people that they can be alive, they can be prosperous, they can be abundant, they can be anything you want. They can do a show like we do. They can be so much. Point is, who is the one in charge? Who is actually telling you that you can? Is that the heart? Is that the eye? Because that's the trick, right? Yeah, go ahead. I know you're smiling, and you saw my every time I go like this, then I,
That happened for
I
me.
am throwing.
No, it
There
doesn't.
you go. I'm throwing energy at people, and
Ah,
I want to do that. Yes, isn't that
I
cool?
love it. Yeah.
Well, that's who we are. We are energy, and I'm known for being the miracle lady, and I have no powers to do that. But the fact is that I know that I have the power of words because my channel with a Wi Fi in goodness, in love, in God, I know that when you come to me and you're going to have a session, my Wi Fi is going to be on and I'm going to give you the password so you can do great things too. That has been always the motto, has been always the journey. We should all be collaborating with each other in this GPS. We should always be collaborating with each other in this journey. Good bring goodness. Love bring loveness. That's it. We should be together in well-being. And well-being is that as I am in peace with you, I am in peace with all. How about that? That is so important. This is the truth, right? I mean, you know, how many times have we talked about love? I think every single session we talk about that.
It always ends in that. It always ends in being your authentic self. It always ends with that love is the highest,
That's
like
it.
form is the highest. It's the goal. It's what you always want to choose. So
That's the form of vibration, the highest ever, you know? And if I am here, for example, I'm right here and I'm giving this talk and I am collaborating with you, my mind will try to talk over me. It will give, opinions. Say this way, talk this way. You don't look good. You don't speak well. You're not, I have to be able to filter that because if I don't filter, who am I being here? Who is this authentic me? I have to be in me. I have to flow. I used to know Wayne Dyer. And I used to participate in some of the events long time ago, you know, and he used to say, I flow during my talks. I don't like to carry scripts. I flow. I agree with that. We teach what we know. We apply and then we teach. We share, right? And I know we talked about that a few weeks ago when you came to the radio show. Remember that day was example. We recorded two shows. One show with your mind talking. Come on,
oh
come on. I want
man.
to know about that.
Yeah, you
One
could just
show,
just go onto the site and listen to the
the
difference
the
between the two
radio show.
conversations. One is the mind, and then one is me actually being me, and that's a great example to see. It's amazing.
It's so amazing, and people should know that. That's a great example because you want to be you, but the mind doesn't allow you. So it gives you the break. But if you have a mind that actually collaborates with your journey, now you're thinking correctly. You're using the tools to actually tell the mind, go get this. Remind me of this. I want to do this. I want to have this logic. I want to apply this logic. I want to be amazing. And the mind says, sure. Because you're feeding that, you actually, so well being is all about that. You cannot talk well being without the mind because the only thing that takes you out of well being could be the mind. And you cannot even grasp it to it. You can even touch it at all. It's this thing which you don't know, yet you think that that is you. That's just something. So many people think I am this way. I think this way. This is who I am. Not right, right. You and I can go on and on about those things and actually not, you know. get to a conclusion because there's so much to talk about the mind. You know, what did one of the philosophers said? I only know that I know nothing. You know,
Yes.
something like that on those lines. Really? Yeah, true. You know, unless I am not in charge, then forget about it. Because there's always something new that I can create. So, are you seeing people? I mean, can you take on clients? And how can people find you? Do you I can post a little bit information here on the chat because you do give people the ability to see, because I know you're going to be certified, but you do show them, you do give a little bit of, what is it called, testing. I can't remember what is it called, that you invite people to come in and they can actually see how the tuning forks work. I can see how your mind's working right now. You're going,
Like,
you took me completely out.
and I'm
But
like,
that's okay. That's
just,
okay. That's
I
all meant
definitely
to
am
be,
open. I'm open to, I mean, of course, I am welcoming new
right?
clients. Anybody who
Yes.
wants to come and experience a sound healing session, if they're
Yeah.
doing it for just relaxation, if they're doing it for just something they're curious about, if they're doing it for physical pain in their body, if they're doing it for stress, if they're
Yes.
doing it to understand themselves more, like discover more about themselves, and I am
That's the
welcoming that.
way.
That's yeah.
I think that's the way. It's important because many people don't know what that is. I mean, I did not know until you showed me the biofield, and I love it. I have it, and I it's amazing. It's so amazing. And also, don't forget, there's also the singing bowls, right?
Yes, I
There's
yep.
you use the singing bowls as well. You know, it's
Yeah.
amazing. So let's see if there's oh, look at this. Um, Anthony's saying, my nephew is a pilot now because of your coaching, Fatima.
I love
Yes,
that.
Sean, you know, is really a pilot. And when he came in, he was with so many issues, little issues with questioning, should I continue? Little issues like, oh, someone is not really in love with me, and what do I do with that? And so many little issues that was not about him. And I love how Sean took over and really expanded his mind. And he's now a pilot. And I believe he's only 22 or 23, very young man, and he's a pilot. I mean, amazing. And only because he took over. He wrote his own story in the book. And all of the little problems, you can have that in there too, but you give solutions to them. You know, a book is not only about all the happy times. A book is about some other challenges too. You just have to know how to write. So you actually answer to all the, you know, challenges and give it the solutions. Let me see here. You haven't ever said not to me when I was in trouble. Ha ha ha. It happened a lot.
That's true. You don't say no. Like you
I never
always,
say no.
and that's
That's
why I
it.
said you're like an angel in my life because
Yes.
you have
Yes.
always been there and you hold space for me.
Yes.
So I completely agree with you.
Yes. And by the way, people, I want to give a shout to the Wow podcast. That's Flavia Porto. I want to give a shout to Mundo Coach, Lenici Correa. Those are my friends in business. They are the ones that contribute to this particular podcast, and we all work together for the well being of all. We all need each other. That's very important, and that's what my friend Flavia said. You haven't never said no to me when I was in trouble. True, you don't say no ever. You always say, "How can I help you?" Always, right? And you have to extend a hand, and you have to empower people to do the miracles in their lives. I just came back from Florida, and in Florida I gave a talk, and I said, right now you're going to learn that you are the most important ingredient of your miracle. You know, and that's true. If you haven't really thought about that, start it today. You are the most amazing person in this world. You have to count on yourself,
It's true. Yes.
right? You have to be enough for yourself. If you're being enough for someone else, it's not enough. It's not enough to be enough to someone else. You have to be enough for yourself. So, I mean, it's amazing to have my friend here. It's amazing to have you all here. I think we're going to have a lot of these conversations. Today is just a celebratory introduction to the channel. I wish we had champagne, but here, cheers to everyone. I guess I need to do it
Need the fireworks.
this way, do the fireworks, and send a little heart, to everyone, to celebrate this because this is who we are. We are amazing human beings with amazing lives, with amazing friends, with amazing things. If we are not being, we cannot have or do. So let's take care of our minds. Let's take care of this amazing body, having well being facilitation to get you from where you are to the where you want to be. If you're not content where you at, change. If you do not know how to change, come to us. Emotion Management School has the tools to teach you how to be the author of your own life. So thank you, Alejandra, for being here with me. Thank you, everyone, for being here with me. This
Thank
is
you.
very moving to me to have to say goodbye, but I have to say goodbye. You all mean a lot to me, and our journey has started on YouTube. We'll have more to share, more tools, more courses, workshops, summits, meditation, book readings, explanation. And this is in two languages, by the way. It's Portuguese and English. And soon, Spanish, the sign languages of Brazil, the sign language of America. Soon, we're going to have all of that. So thank you, Alejandra. Thank you, Lennon. Thank you, everyone, our listeners, and peace be with you. Beijo no coração, abraços, and thank you.